Well, yeah, so this is a tremendous cigar. It's a Gordo. I made that up, but we're gonna call it that. We're gonna have to angle it like that. Thing's broken, I have to retape it. I don't care. I don't care about this channel anymore. It's going out of business, and it's from internal, like all problems. What could take the strength out of a man? It's easier to take it out from the inside. It's been very rough over here. I know Richie's a character everyone has. Even myself, Richie's a character for me to use. It's not. It's It's been rough over here. Seeing her and hearing her in pain from the chemo. The pains in my knee now. The pains in my neck. The pains in my chest. The pains in my throat. Oh, it's hard to drink. I don't know, nobody cares, nobody wants to hear these things. But it's hard for me where the core of my cigar channel is fucking irreverent comedy. Having a great time, but with absolute reverence for God who created the world. But anyone else can get it, motherfucker. Only God is good. Everyone else, not even close. So that being said, I'm gonna have to find somewhere in between. The space between the cheeks. Is there still any Richie left to give? I don't know. Given to us by Dream Life, much appreciated. Massive, big cigar. And I thought by the size and the band, I thought this was a gimmick. Like, I thought it was like a gag cigar, like something they hand out at a party, but like it's like a $5 smoke. I've been doing some research on it. This is apparently a quality brand, and they're using Nicaraguan Lajero for the wrapper, Connecticut broadleaf binder, and D&N in the filler, Dominican and Nicaragua. It is a massive cigar. It's a Gordo 6x60 plus an inch and 5 7/8. Give or take, it's basically about an 8-inch Gordo. Just the way your mother likes it. Anyways, it's called the George Washington. It comes in one size. The brand has cigars dedicated to, the men that help make this country happen. So, of course, the biggest one is for the boss. America's boss. I can find nothing bad in the construction from externally. Very even pack, but not super heavy for its size, which might be a good thing. I don't want this thing to take 6 hours to smoke. Construction is very nice. Oily wrapper. It is a medium brown wrapper, but it's an oily, very thick wrapper. Look at that. And that cap, just the cap is pretty thick. All right, so any indication about the wrapper itself? There is a little damage near the foot. It's just such a big cigar being out of the cellophane. I don't know if it came in cellophane. Maybe it did. The point is, I had to be careful with the humidor. I got the band sliding a little bit. They've been adjusting for, well over. I don't know. It's been some time. Jim Life sent this to me a while ago. I don't know what to expect on this cigar. It's from a brand that I never had. What's the name of the brand again? It's not the Redcoats are coming. I gotta look it up in between takes. Well, sorry, I forget the name of the brand already because it's a brand new brand to me. They started out in 2015, so the brand's been around 8 years. It seems to be they're still out. So if a brand's been out for 8 years, things gotta be doing something right. And they had a whole line. It was like, I think I saw over 5 different models. So they had a pretty extensive line. And this cigar, they sell for $18 as a single. So not a cheap, big cigar. $18 for this size, that would be around like a $12 to $13 Toro. So I'm expecting high quality. Drawers open. All right, we got this tremendous bad boy going. I am clueless going into this cigar. I don't even know if Dreamlife told me he had this before, like if he smoked it or his response. I also don't know how much time is on this cigar. What a tremendous stick. Starting off at a medium strength. That's a good point. Wouldn't want this cigar to be this big and boring, but this is gonna take we're gonna have like 3 solid inches of tobacco of the first third. It's like first third. Oh, I'm damaging the wrapper. That's myself. My thumb's hitting like a sharp little stem sticking out right there, and then you can just rip it apart. You gotta be mindful of that. I'm talking to myself. You might have to stay on this because it's like you almost want it to go out. I guess it's a lot of tobacco, and it might need some help. God, this is gonna give me a workout. Initial impression, nothing crazy. Smooth, slightly nutty, slightly leathery, just a little bit of cedar, but nothing impressive off the bat. Now, granted, that's so it's tobacco's fault. That's why most people don't do a 60 by 8, which is a 7 by. It's a 7 by 5 and 7/8. But for the rest of the night, we're gonna call this a 6 by 80. I'm sorry, an 80 by 6. It's an 8 by 6. God, son, it's a 60 by 8. A 60 by 8 is an 8 by 60. Yeah, it's a 608. Yeah, size that big, tobacco that long, and smoke that has to travel that long to get to you. You're gonna have a lot of loss. Diameter's gonna give you loss. The smoke's less intense. The distance, you're gonna get lost. A journey always costs something. I can't stress that enough. I'm gonna come back because I got like 8 inches left of this cigar to smoke, and we're gonna let it build back. And definitely have a little bit of construction issues. Now this was kept in the same humidor that I smoke all my other cigars. You see what I've been smoking, and I generally don't have any issues, like or any major issues. Unless it's the cigar's fault, right? Well, we got splitting at the top and the center, and then that. So we're gonna touch that up. Besides that, around right here, about 1.5 inches in, the cigar they picked up to about medium plus. It's a little more interesting, nutty, leathery, some black pepper spice. Finish is getting longer. Cedar as well. I don't know if it's just the size or the blend, but I think it's more the size. It's like the cigar. I have to stay on it though. It's a tremendous blend. You gotta think with an 8-inch by 60. The draw's not absolutely perfect. It takes a lot of air pressure to draw that smoke through. We're gonna drop that because that's so. George Washington deserves a little better. Fuck. What am I gonna do? What am I gonna do? Let me fix it first. Let me turn it into ash. But the flavor's not bad. I mean, I think you kind of know where this is going. Definitely can't say go out and rush to buy this cigar, but it's not bad. And I think if this wasn't such a tremendous cigar, if this was a Robusto or a Toro 52 by 6, I think we'd have a better experience. I mean, 8 by 60 is too big, for pretty much any cigar. This is too big. It has a creamy texture to it. It's not a bad blend. I think the size though doesn't help. I don't think 8 by 60 helps any blend. I don't even care if you had an Opus at 8 by 8, 8 by 60. It's gonna water down the blend. It's just too big of a cigar. You got to look at the cigar as a universe. It delivers the smoke, which is the flavor, right? You don't taste tobacco. You don't even taste burnt tobacco. The tobacco gets sacrificed in a fire, and then the cigar shape itself channels the smoke to your mouth. It's kind of metal what happens. It is what it is. I'm trying to tickle this little band, and it doesn't want to come. I'm gonna need a fucking knife. Take it this way. Oh, shit. George Washington won't retreat. My man. Just give him a second. Here's a cigar. I mean, you see me smoke my cigars to the nub carrying the ash. This wasn't happening with this, but I don't know who's rolling these cigars. I don't know what factory. Even then, one factory could produce all different kinds of levels of cigars. So, I mean, is this cigar listed at $18 worth $18? My opinion, no. And I'm no disrespect to George Washington, but $18 for an oversized Gordo. But I do want to try other cigars from this company in normal sizes that are around $10, $12. And that's where better flavor is going to be. They even have a cigar to the trader. The hell was his name? They put his advertisement upside down. The trader. What the hell is his name? Oh, my mind's going blank. No, I'll look at it again. The trader in the American Revolution. What the hell was his name? The officer that switched sides. Can't think of it. Mind's going blank. I think all this touch-ups and trying to take that off is an issue. Yeah, definitely too tremendous of a size for any cigar. 8 by 60 is too much. As far as the actual tobacco, it's not harsh. It's quite smooth, so, those elements would be exposed by Richie. So I don't think it's a poor choice of tobacco. I just think it's just They were going for tremendous size to represent the importance of George Washington, but with cigars, it doesn't work that way. Drinking a little Doers with this. I'm gonna go and come back. I guess we'll come back to where this thing gets down to like 5 inches and we'll see what's going on. Not a bad blend. I think a poor choice of size. The construction. Look, the bigger you go with a cigar, more room for a construction issue. So I can't say off a series of one here that all these cigars, if you buy one, you're gonna have it. Look, no one's gonna go out and buy this, and I'm not shitting on the brand. I wish I could see it at a local store and try one Robusto. Although, I don't think this one comes Robusto. That's all I'm saying, though. So $18 plus shipping is a lot. Most people are not gonna take a risk for something that looks like a gimmick, but does this seem like a brand that I'd like to check out? Yeah, but no store has them though, so it is what it is. It's an ultra boutique brand, and the guy, I saw him on a video on some other guy's channel. The guy has, he does real estate. The guy that made this company, this is a pet project for him. So clearly, it is what it is. Novelty on a cigar is just that. Like if you made a Batman cigar or a Miami Vice or a RoboCop cigar, sounds cool. Might try it once. Might want to look into who makes it in the blend first. But especially when you factor in a price point and it's a novelty cigar, you're like, maybe you got fooled once, you're not going to do it again. I'm not saying that's exactly the case with this, but I don't think this cigar should have cost $18, even at this size. Maybe $8 or $9. It's not a great cigar. It's a great big size though. Getting toasty, a little almond, graham cracker coming in. Okay, so we'll go. Now we're back, and I gotta admit, this cigar is having some major construction issues. And that part here, this part here will be on me, I guess. But yeah, because that little part I nicked with my finger. I think that's the same spot, but I don't know. But whatever, that's nonetheless. But the wrapper doesn't want to keep up in multiple places. And then outside of all that, it's either like I'm puffing too slow on this thing and it wants to go out, or I'm trying to keep it lit and I'm puffing too fast and then it starts getting a little bitter. It's starting to feel like, I'm sorry, George Washington, but Cigars gonna get a 3.9. That's not a good. It's not so hot for George on this size. Maybe if we tried a Robusto. You see, flavor's picking up a little bit right now. God, construction on this. The flavor's picking up a little bit, but it's getting a little odd in the flavor profile. Like I never like it when a cigar starts picking up, but it picks up in like high pitched like floral notes, but like a strong floral note, but it wasn't floral the whole time. So And here's another thing, like, yeah, normally the Lajero, and normally the part you see in the center that is taking longer to burn, is totally centered of the cigar. It's totally on, let's say in this case on the right, or in this case on the left, but it's on the side. You see that? Normally it's totally the center. And I think that, and that's obviously the side that's having burn issues. And so I think having bad construction, I think having the Lajero, the thick leaves in the center of the cigar not be totally centered, or centered enough. I mean, it's totally offset there, and cigar's not working that well. What, did it go out from just talking? I mean, the cherry's lit. I'm done with this cigar. Done with this review. Pass on this cigar. I think it's just too much of a risk, too high of a price from a brand that nobody knows about and nobody cares, and no disrespect. But surprising, it's been around for 8 years, and not one review really on this cigar. For God's sakes. They had smaller cigars that look more interesting, that hopefully maybe will have better construction, but look, it's not going to happen. Guys aren't going to spend their hard-earned money on, $18, $15, when you can get, serious cigars out there that work. It is what it is. So, this is cigar, I guess it's just good to put out the information to pass on buying these cigars. Although, who knows? I don't know how much age is on this. It could have time on it, could not. That wouldn't affect construction. For my well-seasoned smokers out there, I think it's just too much of a risk, and it's not good enough of a blend or decent enough construction to justify the full price on this cigar. So I'd say pass. $18. I mean, you're in Padron 64 territory. At a full price it allows. So I can't. We're done talking about this. At least my night was a complete loss. I watched a movie on Tubi. It was called. It was a Tom Berenger movie from 1988. It was an action mafia priest movie. I didn't say that wrong. I don't know what the fuck they were thinking, but this movie was amazing because how stupid it was. Big budget though. It wasn't a low budget film. So the movie starts off with some beautiful Mexican woman getting railed at a high-end hotel against the window, and I guess they don't care about the blinds, by some mobster named Gino. Gino, papi Gino. Corazon Gino. Me quiere, Gino. Gino's like, yeah, you like that? Yeah. And I guess that's all fine and dandy. So Gino's wife walks into the hotel, and some guy hands her a silenced 380. And apparently the woman's like gangster. She's the daughter of a mob boss. So this guy married a daughter of a mob boss. So somehow she goes into the room, and she doesn't just shoot him. She's like, hey, Gino. And Gino turns around. Gino's buck naked. But Gino was just railing this girl, Angelina, or Angela, whatever. Turns around. He's like, hey, baby, it's not what it looks like. He's naked. And the girl's naked doggy style. It's not what it looks like. It is what it looks like. But Gino, at that moment, he's banging the girl. He turns around. His wife's standing there with the 380. He's like, it's not what it looks like. But at that point, now, this is 4-5-1 other way. But all I know is science, right? If you're banging a woman against a wall, you got to be erect. But anyways, the wife comes in. She's like, Gina. He turns around, and he had the littlest fucking like shriveled up dick. And he said that, and she shoots him in the dick, and then she shoots him in the head. The point is, though, either his wife's voice just made his erection go away, or they're like, listen, we can't have a boner in a movie. We could show we could show it, but we can't show a boner, you know. So whatever it is, it was just ridiculous. It wasn't believable. Not that I wanted to see that, but you're like, there's no way that's believable scientifically. Angelina would not be getting that excited. She'd be like, "Donde está tu pipi?" Josh is like, nuggets. This cigar doesn't want to work. I'm gonna pass from this cigar. Yeah. Talk for 2 seconds, goes down. And you saw the bands moving. The cigar wasn't overly wet. Kept in the same humidors. So all my other cigars. I'd pass on this brand. But yeah, so but the girl runs in the bathroom and the woman doesn't kick down the door. And the woman doesn't lock the bathroom door, so the woman just starts shooting 380s to the wall. And that was that. But big surprise, it turns out the wife was contracted to shoot her husband by her father because the husband was talking to the feds. It was nothing personal, it was business. So anyways, long story short, the woman goes to confession the next day. Oh, okay, before that though. The cop's in there and the guy's naked on the floor. And he's not dead yet though. He's almost dead. And the cop's like, get a priest. I get a priest. He's like, he's what? He's like, what, you think he's, no, not for that. I mean, he needs his last rites. Hence the whole movie. He needs his last rites. I mean, the guy he got shot while banging Angelina. Anyways, Tom Berenger comes on in. And of course, that's his best friend. But it gets deeper, because of course Tom Berenger is the mob boss's son that didn't want to be in the family. I mean, just this fucking movie was great. You're like, yeah, totally believable. Awesome. He gives him his last rites, and the guy dies. And of course, the woman comes for therapy the next day at the cathedral. I think it was St. Patrick's. I don't know. It was in Manhattan. Long story short, she comes in and she says, yeah, tell us what happened. And of course, she knows the situation. He says, you gotta come with me. They're gonna kill you. So he hides her in the upstairs in his room, and she's taking a shower. And some other priest walks in. He's like, oh my God, what's going on? And then you can figure out the rest of the movie. And then the mobsters are trying to kill him. I think Tom Berenger throws a guy through a window. And then they try to do a drive-by on him, on his friend, who's a cop. He had a Mac-10. Or was it a Uzi? It was a Mac-10. Anyway, Tom Berenger gets shot just in the arm. It was a ridiculous movie. Then they go to Mexico. Oh, then they have sex in the church, which is totally sacrilegious. But then he woke up. It was just a dream. I mean, I'm sure he didn't mind filming that scene. But then, long story short, they go to Mexico together, and they really have sex. And he tells her, I love you, baby. And he wants to marry her. And then it turns out the girl was secretly seeing some other mobster. And she's like, I need you to whack the priest. He's like, honey, I can't do that. He's a priest. And she's like, not after last night. And then Tom Berenger calls his sister who whacked Gino in the beginning. And the sister comes in and whacks the girl. And then the girl and Tom Berenger go back in the car, and some mob guy gives him a hug and a kiss. He's like, yeah, for the family. And that was the end of the movie. What the fuck were they smoking? Well, on every level. What did you hear the movie I just explained? How did they approach like Warner Brothers? Like, yeah, we need $32 million. It's like 1988. We need to make a big budget priest movie. Action, mafia, naked Hispanic women in various locations, in a cathedral, and in Mexico. They're like, can we make this movie? Yeah. Yeah. Were they trying to get Catholics to watch this movie? Were they? I don't know. The movie sucked, but it was so good. It was. The movie was so stupid. The movie was better than this cigar, though. Pass on this cigar, 3.9. I mean, just what? I mean, look. There's some. Look, whoever's rolling these cigars, come on. To make a 6x80 work, you need really good rollers. Okay, pass. See you around.